Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to Roma Theory. How did the week start? It started on a great note after that win, I will tell you that. I don't know why, but after such wins, I'm just so thrilled, I'm just so buzzed. You love to win like that. And especially this video is about Jose's post-match interview. Now, I went live for my match reaction before the post-match interview came out, so I wasn't able to speak about it in my match reaction. But it's just the definition of Mourinho. I've said it many times. It's just the world against Mourinho. It's just the referees against Mourinho, and this constant ambition from these associations of trying to be better than him in terms of communication, but then realizing that he just sticks that fingers up your ass every time. And that's the sad reality. That they want to be better than him. They want to try and fool him, but they can't because they're not good enough to handle his communication masters. And that's what we're gonna get into today. What was original of that post match is the fact that he spoke Portuguese, and we'll get into that in a second. Also, what I do want to talk about today, I'm obviously going to speak about Jose's post match interview, but I'm also going to speak about Thiago Pinto's pre match interview because it was very interesting. We spoke about it a little bit in the live watch along yesterday, towards the start, but it was very interesting. Because for the first time ever since Jose came here, Thiago Pinto and the owners have backed him and defended him publicly. And that's obviously a massive step in what could look like a potential, getting back together, closer together, maybe an extension of his contract, who knows. So we will definitely speak about that. I wanted to do this live stream today because it is interesting and I think it's very important moving onwards. It's been a while since we spoke about transfer news, so tomorrow I'm going to go live for transfer news, and then Wednesday, Thursday we'll start thinking about Fiorentina, which is another vital game. Not the easiest of games, but when we play at home, I'm way more confident. So bring that game on. But right, how's everybody doing? I mean, I've already asked this. After that game, how are we feeling? Let me know in the comments. Interact in the live chat, and yeah. So what was original about this press conference is not press conference, sorry, post match interview. It's just that he's such a genius. You realize that it's these details which make that which makes that man a genius. Because imagine presenting yourself in a post-match interview in front of the cameras, in front of everyone, in front of us, in front of the TV, speaking Portuguese. Like, oh boy, build that guy a statue. Build that man a statue. The reason he spoke Portuguese is because he... Right, let's go chronologically, because I don't like to speak about things when they don't make sense. Let's go chronologically. So, Saturday, Jose goes live for the press conference. What does he do? He complains about the referee. And he goes, I am worried for tomorrow's game because I have a feeling the referee isn't good enough in handling the emotional interactions of a football game. And he said that. And that was pre-game, because that was the day before press conference. 2 hours after that press conference, and thus 2 hours after saying this, the Association of Italian Referees opened up an investigation against him. They basically accused Mourinho of saying illegal things to referees, especially pre-game, because you can't speak about, because according to them, you can't negatively speak and try to influence a referee before a game starts, because he could, the game could be stolen and all of that. That's their ideology. As if nobody else has ever complained about referees. So that's something which we'll get into in a second. And then So 2 hours after he went live, they opened up this investigation, accusation of him saying illegal things. So he didn't say anything. He didn't respond on Instagram. That's not what Jose does. If Jose has something to say against you, he will say it with his own words. So the night goes by, morning of Sunday goes by, afternoon goes by, kickoff starts against Sassuolo, and then we win the game. And then post-match, Jose goes in front of the cameras and starts speaking Portuguese, answers one question, and leaves. Never change. Jose never change. He just outsmarted the entire Italian referee association. And everybody thinks that they can master him at this. Everybody thinks that by doing all of these accusation things, you can try and limit Jose's power. And that's where you get stabbed. Because what did he say in Portuguese? He spoke about the game. He spoke about Thiago Pinto and the owner defending him. So he was thanking them very, very much. He dedicated the game to Foti, who was suspended in that Udinese game. And then he ended this press conference and he said, Do you know why I'm speaking Portuguese today? Well, I'm speaking Portuguese because apparently my Italian is incomprehensible. That's Hollywood. I cannot pronounce your name, mate. I'm gonna try my best. Cesanslo. I've bottled it. Jose is better than Hollywood. Oh, I'm speaking Portuguese because maybe I should. Because maybe you don't understand my Italian. And maybe every time I speak, everybody thinks I've committed a crime. So look, I'm gonna stop speaking Italian because if you don't understand me, then look, I'll speak my own language. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, then go learn another language. That's effectively what he's saying. And that's so big because he himself has outsmarted everyone. Everyone. Because look, I'm a Roma fan. He's my manager. I back my manager. I defend my manager. But this is unfair. This is unfair. Because if any other manager would have done this, he would have been ignored. No accusations, no illegal scandals would have been opened up. No, he would have simply been ignored because his name isn't Mourinho and he doesn't have a CV of protesting against referees. And that's not good enough. I'll give you an example to back this. Thiago Motta, Lecce against Bologna was 3 hours before the Roma game. Lecce against Bologna this weekend was lunchtime kickoff. Bologna was winning. Bologna drew that game because the referee gave a penalty in the last second of the game. Thiago Motta, Bologna manager, protested against the referees. And the referee association, Italian association, now is investigating what Thiago Motta said. But why is it that they are presenting their accusation 24 hours after that game happened? And why is it that you've presented your accusation 2 hours after Jose said his? That is levels of favoritism. That is how pedantic this association is. Knowing it's extremely inconsistent, extremely incomprehensible, led by a bunch of idiots who don't even know what they're doing, who don't even know how they're getting an income to get food, house, and clothes for their own families. They don't even know how they've been appointed generals of that association because they're all clowns. Now look, I am not saying that protesting against referees is a good thing. And that's not what I'm trying to promote. What I'm trying to promote is, why is it that if Jose says something, everybody makes it look like he's committed a crime, and when anybody else says anything, it takes you 24 hours to do it, and you've only done it because you want to look consistent after what you did to Jose? Why is that? I'm not saying that we should all start protesting against referees. Look, I will also be honest with you. I don't think protesting against referees before a game starts is good. And that's, I will say that. I don't think 24 hours before a game starts, you can talk negatively about a referee because that can influence the game. And that's bribery, if you can call it. But there is no such thing as opening an entire accusation because he said that. You're acting as if Mourinho is the only one who does this. You have Sarri who does this week in and week out. You've Thiago Motta who just did this. And yet it took you 24 hours to start an investigation. You've got Allegri, let's not even talk about him. You've got Mazzarri, new Napoli manager. That guy's even worse than Jose. But yet, why is it that you're so greedy when Jose says something and it takes you so much time and you don't even want to act when other managers do this? The level of inconsistency is worrying. It is. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's very not fair. It's not fair. And once again, Jose's proven to be big. Jose's proven to be a master at communication. He's a master at communication. And everybody keeps on thinking that they can outsmart him, but they just can't. Because speaking Portuguese in an Italian interview as a sign of protest is a Hollywood act. It's a Hollywood act. Give them the Oscar and end the season. So that's definitely something which I'll say. Pre-match, Thiago Pinto said something which, to be honest, it's a first. I've never seen happen before. And I think it emphasizes that, something is changing in the interior of this club. Now, when I say that, I mean Thiago Pinto in the pre-match interview basically, for the first time ever, defended Mourinho and went, other managers do this too. Why is it that Joe... Effectively, he said what I just said in these last 10 minutes. And that's big, because for the first time ever, we are seeing one of our biggest components, which make up this club, backed by the owners, defending Mourinho, fighting for Mourinho against the referees. This is something which he has specifically asked for after that Budapest game. This is something which he has specifically, pressurized the ownership in having. It's probably one of the biggest things that Jose wanted to see, even more than a more successful transfer window. It's just the fact of not leaving him stranded by himself, isolated, fighting against these organizations and these, institutions which absolutely hate him and will try to get the worst out of him every single time. And will also make him look like an idiot and a criminal. It's big because we've not seen this before. And this is exactly why Jose, in that post-match interview, thanked the ownership and Thiago Pinto for their support, for not leaving him isolated once again. And I think it's a sign. I'm somebody who likes noticing signs. I like connecting dots, and I think it isn't a coincidence. I think it's studied. I don't think it came out of nowhere. I definitely don't think that Thiago Pinto woke up that day and went, oh, you know what? Today I'm going to go against the referees and defend Jose. No, I don't think that's what happened. I think Thiago Pinto did that because he was sent by the Fredkins to do that. And if they are starting to do this, then it only means that maybe they're considering an extension. Again, I'm not necessarily going to link this little detail of a press conference and a post-match interview into an entire topic of Jose extending his contract. But, the Fredkins and Pinto supporting him for the first time ever is definitely a sign of we want to work together and we know how to work together and we want to make things work together. And look, I said this last week. I think right now, the 4th of December, if you ask Dan Fredkin, if you meet Dan Fredkin in the groceries and you ask him, so, What are we going to do with Jose's contract? There's a higher chance today that he's going to say, yes, we're going to extend it, than no, we're not going to extend it. The results are coming. We're improving our consistency. We're getting our results. We're in top 4 tonight. And don't get me wrong, the season doesn't end today. I would love it to end today because we'd be playing in the Champions League if it ends today, but it doesn't end today. But if we are in the top 4 by the end of the new year, then I think it can happen. I think it will happen, and I think it's only fair for it to happen. Yeah, you know, coming up, we have got Fiorentina on Sunday, Sheriff on Thursday, Bologna next Sunday, and then we've got Juventus, I believe. I have to be honest with you, there is not one game here which is an easy game. The Sheriff game, useless. The Sheriff game is absolute. What is happening in front? Oh God, there's an ambulance. Somebody fell sick. I think somebody fell sick in my own building, you know. God. Hope he's fine. Anyways, we've got a tough calendar. But so was the Sassuolo game a tough game. Let's not forget that. And when we play at home, I'm way more confident. Unpopular opinion. Our toughest game from the Fiorentina game on Sunday to the end of the year is Bologna away. That's an unpopular opinion because we've got Juventus away. And, you know, a lot of people might go, that Juventus game is scary. Juventus look good. Juventus have got entire weeks to prepare games. They've got good players. I will argue that the Bologna away game is a more complicated game than the Juventus away. For the simple reason being that Bologna have nothing to lose in that game. They're playing phenomenally, and also I think Juventus have got a similar style of play to us. And when two teams have got a similar style of play clash against each other, it's going to be a very close game. Bologna play fast football, high intensity, high pressing. They're playing at home. And I think that game will be the most complicated game before the end of the year. I really do. I think Bologna away, it's the one I'm less confident about. We've got a crucial month, which is also a very complicated month. But look, let's try and get the best out of it. We're going to try and keep this top 4 position and start to build a gap. We're going to start building a gap because if we don't start building a gap, what will happen is that we will see a lot of yo-yo teams. So for example, after this game week, we will be in top 4. After the next game week, we'll see Napoli in top 4. And maybe after the next one, we'll see Atalanta top 4. We drop down when we go back to... We got to try and consolidate this. But the only way to consolidate this is to grind more results, especially in tough games, and start to build a gap. Good, you look, Atalanta's losing against Torino. Zapata for them scored. Currently on. This would be a good result. Because already if Atalanta lose today, we would be 4 points from Atalanta. Now look, 4 points isn't much. But look at the next game week. Atalanta's playing against Milan. Let's say we win and Atalanta lose. That's 7 points. 7 points isn't 1 point. 7 points is 2 wins and a draw. So we need to start building a gap between us, Napoli, Atalanta, Lazio. I'm going to include Fiorentina and Bologna in this, but I am very aware and I am confident that Bologna and Fiorentina are not going to last until the end of the season and that eventually they're going to drop down. Especially Fiorentina, as they have got the Conference League to focus on. And just like us in Europe, they want to seek revenge in that because they lost that final against West Ham. Bologna's good, but I don't see Bologna keeping this rhythm and this intensity until the end of the season. But they look amazing right now. So yeah, we need to start forming a gap between us, Lazio, Atalanta and Napoli, and the others too, and start to put pressure on Milan. Because look, Milan, in my opinion, isn't a massive team. They're not a massive team, especially when they've got a lot of injuries. They're not a good team. I think they can lose results. We can lose results too, but everything is close. Let's enjoy this top 4 position for the first time ever since the start of the season. And let's enjoy it because maybe we could lose it in a few weeks. Maybe we can keep it. I'm going to catch you tomorrow with some transfer news. We've got some important transfer news, because we've got some updates on Arthur Thiat from Rennes, and also there's a potential chance that Roma's entering the race to sign Serhou Guirassy, the Stuttgart striker. Complicated deal, but Pinto's very interested in him. So tomorrow we will speak about these two deals. As I always say, don't forget to smash a like, subscribe to the channel. You know it supports this channel and video a lot, so please do. Smash a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Everybody do that before leaving this stream. I will talk to you soon. Good night. Take care. You're all legends, and let's just suck all of this up. This top four up. Yes, let's suck it all in. Talk to you soon. Simo out. I don't mean in that literal sense. You get the point.